Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot, and we are actually back playing a little bit more Zoo Tycoon 2 because I've been really fortunate to be given a little bit of early access to some pretty cool stuff. Zoo Tycoon 2, oddly enough, despite the game being, 18 years old or 15 years old at this point in time, has actually had a bit of a modding breakthrough lately, and we're going to look at two examples of those mods today. I'm going to try to explain what's going on in my very limited knowledge of what is going on, but I really want to thank Harlequin's Ego and everyone who is involved with the Cretaceous Calamity pack for letting me take a look at this nice and early. I'm going to link that pack down below along with the shaders in question that we're going to talk about later on in this video. So we're just going to build two nice and simple exhibits today to showcase two different creatures. We're going to build one over here, one over here. I kind of just done a nice basic layout. Instantly remembered why Zoo Tycoon 2 is probably the best zoo game ever made. Just as a little introduction to my park, we begin with the flag of Burma for reasons of science, and then we meet the Harry Potter gang because of more science. You go through the Jurassic Park gates, you walk by Simba, and then there's a dragon. This is why Zoo Tycoon 2 is the best. So we're going to build two exhibits. The first one is going to be a Acrocanthosaurus exhibit. So let's nip over here onto the right and do this bit. I did consider not including this in the video, but yeah, it's been a while since we played Zoo Tycoon 2. I have been meaning to get back to it, I will say, but this is the bit that people enjoy as well. I wish I'd picked a slightly brighter map, I'll say that much, but whatever, it's fine. Let's just build a nice little standard exhibit. Really not going to spend too much time on it. I just want to make it look moderately acceptable. Get some food in there. We've got loads and loads of food options. I don't know how all of these are appropriate for an Acrocanthosaurus in the slightest. Cannot imagine an Acrocanthosaurus going for a termite mound with bananas, but apparently he will, so let's give him a termite mound with bananas. Maybe something else as well, just in case. The chances are it's going to be fine, of course, but maybe just in case. We can get some toys and stuff like that. And shelters. Just generally, let's just pump up the exhibit a little bit. Just make it look acceptable. Get some trees. Just look at this level of creativity. It blows my mind still. It really does. It's so much more than every other game on the planet. Like, honestly, Zoo Tycoon 2's creativity and what the community's done with this game is beyond basically every other game I can think of. I really am struggling to think of a game that's been treated like Zoo Tycoon 2 has, and it's really, really cool. And this is another breakthrough. It really is. I believe it's a breakthrough. I believe what I'm going to show you guys tonight has never been done before on the game, or is at least a fairly new thing. It's odd. It's like with Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, where despite the game being so old, it's kind of like people are still trying to break it essentially and bring in new things and change how it's played and all this kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. I really, really like it. Just finish off this little random... look how long that... It took like 2 seconds and we got like a unique, interesting looking wetland. This is why it bugs me when game developers are scared of modding. Modding just opens your game up in so many exciting ways. It really does. Whatever. Why are the termites purple? That's a further question. It's a question for the ages. That's a question we'll never hope to answer. Right, so that's going to be our Acrocanthosaurus exhibit. Now, before we fill that in, we're going to shift over here to the right, and we're going to look for the Mastodon, which is probably down here in the M. Stegosaurus. Wait, what's my alphabet? I don't think that's actually the Stego. No, it's not. Sometimes... I really wish Zoo Tycoon had a search function more than anything else, but basically sometimes when people have their dinosaurs in like a pack, those pack dinosaurs will be together, even if alphabetically they don't. But anyway, so there's our Mastodon, the American Mastodon. This is of course the fairly default looking Mastodon. And we're going to make ourselves a boreal forest, which is good because I would have instinctively given it like an alpine kind of shebang, so good thing I'm not in charge. There we go, lovely boreal forest brush, little bit of water, go a little bit thinner on this one. Don't really know what I'm doing, just doing shapes. Alright, food, you want termites as well? No, but you're fine with the meat. Something odd is going on. Food box with freshwater insects? Yeah, you know what? Branches for the Mastodon, I think. Maybe some, what's that? What is it? Grass. Maybe some grass, maybe some cicad leaves. God only knows. And a tyre. Mastodons love tyres. And a peanut feeder. And a painting easel. And an iceberg. The iceberg's not going to fit. Not an iceberg. And we'll give them a little shelter there. Lovely stuff. Right, we need some trees. These lovely fir trees. You notice as well I can do this. If we, you can't do this on Zoo Tycoon by default. I just want to point things out. Pew, 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 pew. You can really... There's a certain mod out there. I can't remember what it's called. But there's mods out there that let you kind of jam trees and rocks together and stuff like that. It gives you a hell of a lot more control. It really does. Maybe a dead tree over there, a couple of logs. What's this? Some pine. I don't know. Nice little environment for our guys to live in. Look at that randomization as well. Very cool. I love this game. Like, oh yeah, I love Zoo Tycoon 2. Like, I haven't played it in a while. We did one exhibit. We made an Ultimasaurus exhibit not that long ago, but since then it's really not been anything. I have been meaning to come back to it, I'll say that much, and people do remind me every now and again how much I love the game and that maybe we should play it more on the channel. I will do my best. Get some poison ivy. Everyone loves poison ivy. I didn't put rocks in the other exhibit. I feel dirty. We're going to have to nip back, I think. We'll do it a bit though. There we go. Right. So, with that made, with our two little fairly basic little exhibits, we can actually talk about what's going on, and that is the people who are, I think it's the people behind Cretaceous Calamity, which is basically a mod pack that was out a long time ago, but it's kind of being rebooted now that these new sort of abilities are accessible. Really hope I'm not butchering this explanation, I could be entirely wrong, but basically new shaders have been brought into the game for the very first time. There's a fur shader and there's the ability to use normal maps, and what this should mean is the ability to make much more detailed and just generally realistic and just good looking dinosaurs, animals, whatever creature you fancy. It should really up the modelling game, and again it reminds me of JPOC, wherein we got the tool by Equinox within the last couple of years. That's really brought in a whole new wave of modding. I'm hopeful this will do the same thing. Zoo Tycoon 2 as a community has died a little bit, I would suggest, lately. A lot of the sites got shut down and stuff like that. That's really bugged me. I need to clean up those corners. A lot of the sites got shut down and stuff like that, and you know, the game's been out for a long time and has kind of suffered from a lack of breakthroughs lately, which I think really helps the game, but this may reinvigorate the modding scene. So like I said, I'm going to link those shaders down below. I believe if you're watching this and you're a Zoo Tycoon 2 modder, you can download those and integrate them into your own animals. I would not have a bloody clue what to do with that, so I'm just going to link the files as requested and leave it alone. So, let's look at the Mastodon. Mastodon, we can do this really well. Now that is the default Mastodon. This is the one, the female one does not have the shader applied. So what we can do is show a really good comparison between the fur shader and the non-fur shader. So if you've played Zoo Tycoon 2 and you have a Mastodon, this is what it looks like, okay? This is the default, this is what the animals in the game look like. This is the detail on their fur by default. So, let's put that one in. And then put this one in. And pause the game. So I think right away you can see the immense difference we're dealing with here. It is absolutely... Can I photo mode pause? No, okay. I mean, it's pretty clear, right? You can see on the fur shaded one on the right hand side, it has actual fur. This again is not a thing. What I'm gonna do actually is find another example animal. If I can find a furry animal like a mandrill. I want to stop breaking. You'll see the mandrill is not furry. It's just the fur texture is always painted on. I'd like to find a big furry animal. Right, muskox. There we go. You'll see what I mean. It's kind of got like a little bit of a texture at the bottom, but that's it. It's not really fur. It's painted on. This, because of the fur shader, which creates the illusion of fur, or however shaders bloody work, looks like it has actual fur. And look at it compared to the default Mastodon. It's a huge step up. Now the Mastodon, by default, is not it's not a nice looking Mastodon, is it? It's not the best looking Mastodon, if we're totally honest. You need to look past that and just focus on the body, which is probably not the best thing for life. But I'm just gonna hop into guest mode, and yeah, look at that proper fur on a Zoo Tycoon 2 animal from 16 years ago. 2003, I think it came out. Zoo Tycoon 2, 2004, no, late 2004. If I remember correctly. It's really cool, and this is like the first step, you know, this is the first step in a bigger chain, hopefully, of new modding and stuff like that. And you just look rubbish now, my friend. Look at your big, bulky, furry friend over there. You're rubbish. I'm so sorry. You're still very cute, but that is, yeah, it's a big step up. Now, the other thing that's been introduced is normal maps. Now, what a normal map is, and again, I'm probably going to butcher this, and I was right, going back and looking at this video, it is all nonsense. Just to clear things up very quickly, what a normal map is basically a way of simulating bumps and indentations upon a model. And the reason you do it is to increase the detail on a model without increasing the polygonal count of the model itself, and therefore causing issues with the game. So as far as I know, this is the first time it's ever been done in Zoo Tycoon 2. It's a big breakthrough, and I will butcher the definition of it for the next 4 minutes, so I apologise and enjoy. But basically a normal map is It's kind of part of a texture that you apply to a dinosaur, sort of. And we'll go with dinosaur because we're going to show it on a dinosaur, wherein the texture sort of applies lighting and wrinkles, and the texture has bumps in it. I really don't know how else to say it. The texture is bumpy. You can put detail in the texture, so you can have a very basic model like this. It's kind of the same as the fur shader, right? Because this is the same model, but they've applied the fur shader and it's given it the illusion of fur, correct? So the normal map is kind of the same thing. You apply the normal map to something like this, and the very basic model can take on new shapes and stuff like that, right? It can be bumpy, it can have scales and stuff like that, without the model itself having to be more developed, which is a lot harder to do, I believe. So I'm going to try to show you what I mean. We're going to nip over here. It is a little, I have already tested this one out, it's a little difficult to see, but if we grab ourselves an Acrocanthosaurus, so that is the acro with a, yeah, we're just going to pause at that. So, pause, nip. So, that right there is the Acrocanthosaurus without a texture. That is an untextured Acrocanthosaurus, but the normal map has been applied, and you can see already we've got these scales everywhere, we've got wrinkles, we've got like the ridges above the eye, like I'm trying to point it out, but I can't because it goes bloody yellow, but to the right of the eye, that ridge, that kind of scaled bulky ridge, all the just little details that you can see right there on the texture are not part of the default Acrocanthosaurus model, because games like this don't have that kind of detail. You know, this was a game, this is 16 years ago. The animals in this game look nothing like that. And if we compare it to this Acrocanthosaurus here, you can kind of see the difference. You can see how, I mean, obviously this acro has loads of scales and stuff, but they're painted on. They're a texture, so they don't reflect light at all. They don't change with the lighting, whereas this one on the right should do in theory. And it should allow for more detailed models. We can put in the female one, which I believe is the exact same, if it ever wants to work. Which it doesn't. It should be the exact same, but with the texture applied. Is it because I'm paused? What's going on here? Oh, right, I know why. Okay, let's grab the other acro. And then hop into guest mode. It is hard to see, I won't pretend otherwise. Like, it really is. But I think you can just about see it, right? Yeah, I think you can spot it every now and again. How, I don't know, it just looks I mean, that's a great looking Acrocanthosaurus. Now, how much the normal map is doing there, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend this is my speciality, but I am at least aware that this is quite a breakthrough in terms of Zoo Tycoon 2. I don't believe this is something that's ever been done before until now, and I believe this may be one of the first times this has ever been shown to you guys as, like, the world, basically. So, yeah, it's really, really, really cool, and I'm really excited to see what the community can do with it. I really hope Zoo Tycoon 2 takes off again a little bit. It's a brilliant game with unlimited amounts of creativity, and one of the things that's been holding it back is the lack of shaders, the lack of lighting options, stuff like that. The game always looks very flat. If we can move some way to fixing that, that'd be really cool, but just having more fur and just... Yeah, I'm trying to show you guys as much as possible here. Stay still. Stay still. Stay still. You're very pretty, I'll give you that much. It's a great looking acro. And this acro is part of the Cretaceous Calamity Pack, which is currently being worked on. And when that is finished, we will definitely be doing a mod spotlight kind of thing on that. That might be where we go in the future with Zoo Tycoon 2. For those of you who've missed it on the channel. People keep releasing new mods and stuff like that, so maybe we'll just do spotlights when they're interesting, or new packs and stuff like that. And I don't know, we'll have a little look, but... Just for one more look, there is the Acrocanthosaurus with a normal map. It's a big breakthrough. It's very subtle as well, so, you know, these are the kind of details that are quite hard to spot. Like here, especially YouTube's probably compressing this video a little bit, as YouTube is wont to do, but, I don't know, hopefully it's coming across a little bit. If somebody more intelligent than me on this kind of thing is probably the better person to talk to. But I think it's really cool. I'm really thankful I got to show this to you guys. The fur shader at the very least is super obvious. You're eating meat, right? Not like a banana or something, yeah. The fur shader at least is super obvious. And yeah, we're going to end it there then. So, Zoo Tycoon 2, breaking boundaries. Very cool. Thanks again to Harlequins and everyone else at Cretaceous Calamity. And hopefully one of them posts down below and kind of clarifies all the information I've inevitably butchered in this video. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.